All right, it's time for the Star Goddess podcast and the Crash and AJ blog at 98rock.com. And the time of recording this is a Championship Super Monday 2021. Good evening or morning or whatever, ladies. Good championship.
Yes, ain't
I think
that
for
the
AJ,
truth? Yeah.
Yeah, for you, AJ, it's the continuation of last night. Hasn't really ended yet.
Yeah. Team 1.5 hours sleep. Woohoo! Team
Yeah,
adrenaline. I feel like I could lift a house right now. I really do. It's awesome.
And so to let you guys know what's coming up in this podcast. And we talked about this during the show on the FM on 98 Rock. But, throughout the course of this podcast, Star Goddess is going to kind of pepper in some of these Buck free agents and let us know what the chances are of us putting this team back together in 2021. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think nobody's happier than the Glazers.
Yeah, I'll bet. And what was the theme again from earlier?
Oh, the earlier is it's the new moon in Aquarius, and Venus, the planet of love, is in Aquarius.
All right.
Jupiter, Venus, the sun, and the moon this week are all in Aquarius. So, and you can tell by Jason Light's feet haven't hit the ground yet that he's in Aquarius. I'm pretty happy about all this. So you got to like that. And so I think it's important. Not Aquarius, but new moons always mean new starts. So it's even though Mercury is retrograde, it's still a good time to start to put things in motion. And I'm pretty sure that they signed Leonard Fournette like last night. It's like, before you go off the field, could you sign this for me? Because I think, and I think those trades were just amazing, absolutely amazing. So I think it's important to know where you can have new starts in your life and where you can continue successes for that matter. So starting with Aquarius, the sign that we are in, rarely do you have 4 or 5 planets all in the same sign, all in your sign. And Aquarians are genuinely feeling the love all the way across the board. They're feeling the love personally in their life with Venus in their sign. If they're single, they'll attract someone. If they're married, their marriage goes well. Their own personal image is great. Having 4 planets in your sign, it's a safe bet that Aquarius is going to be good for them all year long, not just right now. And the things they put into motion this week are going to play out over the next year or so. So I need Aquarians to take the long view rather than the short, immediate kind of view on the things that they're putting into motion now. And I think that means for Devin White, Aquarian, and Levante David, it's like, I'm pretty sure they're just going to back a truckload of money up and say, take how much you want.
I'll bet, man. They should.
And they should, because both those guys are Aquarians. Both those guys were decisive in this victory. So I think, and I think that they're really good as Buccaneers, because Devin's got Venus in Capricorn, which is the sign of the Buccaneers, and Levante Davis has Venus in Capricorn, the sign of the Buccaneers, because they're Capricorns. So I think they are the evidence of good things coming to Aquarians all the way across the board, including their the general manager. Okay. So I think it's all very, very positive for Aquarians. I think those two guys get signed right away.
And so if you're keeping track at home, the linebackers, she's shoring up the linebackers for us right now. All right.
Well, again, and I know you don't win a ball game 0-0, but that defense really stuffed them. Mm-hmm. You really have to admire Todd's defense for the outstanding job it did just shutting those guys down. So you got to like that. The second sign of the zodiac is Pisces. This is a good time for Pisces just kind of take a step back a little bit and kind of regroup. And Chris Godwin's probably feeling that way right about now, being a Pisces. And that I think that Pisces had to give a little more than they get. I don't think they get the accolades that they need. This is like, for Pisces, it's a time of just doing more than is expected of you, and giving a little more than you're going to get immediately. It's sort of like an investment in your own future kind of a deal. Pisces want to go ahead and do that kind of humble service now, because it will be remembered down the road. And I mean down the road as early as like April and May, when Jupiter dips into your sign as kind of like a harbinger of what to come in 2022. But for Pisces everywhere, it's just sort of take a little bitty bit of a step back and kind of regroup a little bit. It's not the greatest energy for them. When all that energy is behind your sun, rather than trying to start new things, you're trying to finish up old things. And Pisces in particular are trying to figure out, how can I make more money? How can I have more money at the end of my month? That's really their big play with this.
So I'm translating that as a holdout, maybe, on contract negotiations. Okay.
Probably. Although, he is also worth keeping, boys and girls, because he's a Pisces, and next year Jupiter will be in Pisces, and I think he's also one of the guys absolutely worth keeping around. So for Pisces everywhere, I just don't think they're going to feel the love right away. I think it's going to take them a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that he knows that Jason's on his side. So
yeah.
I think he'll be re-signed too.
I think it's Tom Brady could probably let go a little of the money too. That's the key to, he's got so much money on his contract. He can just go, you know what? I'll peel a little bit off my contract there for you, Chris Godwin. There you go. Now we got the deal done.
Exactly. Didn't he already do that? Didn't he do that when he came here? Wasn't that part of the deal?
He's done that throughout his career, actually. All throughout his career in New England, he's definitely taken less money. He's restructured contracts to sign players that he needs to win, which is brilliant.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He is getting paid handsomely, though, and especially when it comes to all those bonuses. I mean, the millions and millions of dollars that he's amassed just over the last, 4 weeks in postseasons. Mm-hmm. So, you go, Brady.
Every penny. Worth every penny. And the thing I love about him is he has Mercury in Virgo. This is one smart dude. This is one smart, quick study dude. So I think that was an investment kind of in his own future. I would hire somebody to catch the ball for me. That's a good idea. You got to like that. So for Aries, the next sign of the zodiac, and I love Aries. They ain't afraid of nothing, even stuff that they should be afraid of. And I thought it was interesting. None of these guys are Aries. None of them, not a one.
Really?
Although, yeah, I know. I was kind of surprised at that. Looking down, going, where are the Aries? And the Aries they're not there. That sign is not represented very well on this football team. But they should be, because Tom Brady's got a moon in Aries, and Bruce Arians also has a moon in Aries, which is where the assertiveness comes from. So, but for Aries, this is great energy, actually, for Aries. It's a good time for them to reach for the brass ring. It's a good time for Aries to tap their well-placed male friends and colleagues to help the Aries get what it is that the Aries wants. And this pertains to you as an Aries, and if your rising sign is Aries, too. And then what?
Could that mean a Aries may be trying to get in on the action here?
I don't think an Aries
from the outside?
Yeah. I'd be surprised if there's any room for them right now.
Gotcha.
Quite honestly, I think the Bucks are going to do everything they can to keep the team that they have. And the only way that they would replace somebody is if the guy's legs are cut off, literally. I just think that you're going to stick with what works. But I was kind of surprised to see no Aries, because they're pretty assertive, pretty aggressive guys. But Aries everywhere do very well through their well-placed friends and colleagues help the Aries out. And the Aries will act like, okay, group, I'm going to do this for you. But the truth is the Aries is doing it for themselves. So, and if you're negotiating a contract, your male friends, Aries rising boss, are the ones that are going to put you over the top.
Right on.
So, because you have a good team behind you when you are negotiating. So
grazie.
I think that's pretty favorable for Aries. For Tauruses, the professional love train pulls into the station at last. This month, Tauruses have the Sun, the Moon, Venus, and Jupiter all at the top of their chart, all in their 10th house of career and public standing. So for them, they finally feel the professional love, not only just accolades, but in a tangible, real kind of fashion, to where they know that they're going to be successful professionally. I love it that Gronk is a Taurus, and he was, the first one to score yesterday, and then scored again just so people knew it wasn't a fluke. When you talk about, who we're going to try and get back, I'm pretty sure he's number one on the list of guys we want to retain, and I'm pretty sure he's one of the guys that'll go, absolutely, sign me back. I love Tampa. So
he's got to have probably these endorsement deals. Sometimes they'll take less than that contract if they sign, like a T-Mobile deal or something like that on top of it.
Yeah. We can find plenty of ways to make it work to keep you around. But you know what? I think he would stay even without the money.
Yeah, I think so too.
I do, because he's that kind of a guy. But Tauruses everywhere finally feel the professional love. They finally feel it from above, not just where they go, God, I know I've done a good job. But the powers that be notice that they've done a really good job too, and acknowledge it, and hopefully compensate them.
Oh, we've got one on our roster. We have our 98 roster that probably needs that.
That's what I'm saying. We got at least one. That I think has done an outstanding job.
Yeah.
The weak
Thank
link.
you.
She's gonna. Good thing she's not there. She'd smack you. But I do.
Not at all. Who, me? Come on now.
Gotta like that. For Geminis, this energy again is in the 9th house of the law. Legal matters, educational matters, important matters, all appear to go very favorably for the Gemini. And the only reason I use the word appear is because Mercury is retrograde, and all things indicate that They'll have a good result with any kind of legal battle, any kind of contract, any kind of negotiations, any kind of agreements. But Mercury retrograde scares me a little bit because somehow it ends up getting undone. So they have to be really careful to dot all their I's and cross all their T's. And I think that bodes well, for guys undergoing a Senate trial, to tell you the truth. I'm not so sure he's going to get convicted.
Oh, boy.
Not of that, anyway. I think the law is on his side as far as that goes for Geminis everywhere. I think that they do fairly well with contracts and negotiations and any kind of agreements. And once again, none of the guys that we're talking about, keeping are Geminis. So not quite sure what to do about that. Although a lot of them have prominent Gemini planets, like Chris Godwin's got a moon in Gemini. And O.J. Howard, I think he will be back. He's got a moon in Gemini. I just don't think that the contracts work out exactly the way they want right away. So what you were saying earlier about Godwin being a holdout, that may be.
Yeah,
that may very well be.
And is OJ going to be a healthy Achilles injury? That's no joke right there. Is he going to be the same OJ?
That is no joke. That is no joke. But I do think he'll be back next year. I do. I think he'll be back. I think he probably gets cleared in the fall. Maybe not in the summer, but by the fall. And if anybody's going to come back from that kind of an injury, it's a Scorpio. Okay. Because they are that determined.
Gotcha.
But for Geminis everywhere, it's pretty good legal news, pretty good contract news, negotiation news. They really kind of have the upper hand as far as that goes. For Cancers, this energy is in the 8th house of regeneration and rehabilitation and healing from some sort of an ill. And I know Antonio Brown is a Cancer, and I'm positive we're going to re-sign him because he also has a moon in Gemini, Mercury, Venus, all in Gemini. So looking at that energy and then watching him yesterday, because I know that, our Jones, I think, probably started it. But I got to tell you, that receiving job done by Antonio Brown set us up for our first touchdown. And I think right there he redeemed himself in everybody's eyes. And everybody looked at him and went, that was a really good get on our part getting him.
Yeah.
And, because of the troubles that he had. And again, I'm sort of on his side as far as that goes.
Hey, man, everybody. You can't judge somebody by their track record always. You mean to become a better person, and that's that's a lot of people that have a checkered past don't want to get branded from the checkered past. It's what they're doing right now, what they're doing for the future.
Well, there's a big difference in what you do personally and what you do on the field. Yeah. And I think Tom Brady showed a lot of confidence and a lot of courage, bringing him aboard, saying, "I will take him I will let him live in my house."
Yeah.
While we do that. And I think he's a big reason we won, honestly, a huge reason we won. And I think that Cancers everywhere, this is like the rehabilitation of them. And I think they come out on top. So I think he's another guy that we absolutely need to keep. Not want to keep, but need to keep. So, and I think that his rehabilitation is complete with this Jupiter, Venus, Sun, and new moon conjunction all in the 8th house, a profound transformation. So I think that's great news. For Leos, Tom Brady is a Leo, and what can I say about that? All those planets in the 7th house of public image, and everybody's going to want to be a partner with him. Everybody's going to want a piece of Tom Brady, and Leos everywhere are really, they're in a very good position with this energy. They're in a position to have their public image be very good. Their partnerships work out well. Their intimate one-to-one relationships work out well. If they're single, and rarely are they, if they're single, they'll attract someone. If they're married or in a partnership, that goes very well for them. But they really kind of live up to the hype, which is kind of a good thing for Leos, because Leos are always the star of the show. It doesn't matter what show it is. A Leo's always the star because the sun is the center of our solar system. All of the planets revolve around the sun, and Leos are ruled by the sun, and they think the whole world should revolve around them, and quite frankly, it does. So
I like seeing Tom Brady right now. His personality, I was never aware that he had this much of a kooky, funny personality until he joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, yeah, he's putting on some type of a show right now, but just his personality. I think there's a bright after football future for him.
Oh, I think so. I think that he could write his own ticket doing just about anything. And the beauty of it is with his Mercury and Virgo, he is smart enough to pull it off. That's the beauty of it. And so he's a Leo, and he has dragged a lot of Leo energy with him. Shaq Barrett's got a moon in Leo. Leonard Fournette's got a moon in Leo. There's a lot of that energy running around, which I think is terrific, and because it blends so very well. And to me, Leo is sort of like the sign of heart. When you say somebody's got heart, They either have it or they don't, and Leos are born with it. So for Leos everywhere, they should enjoy the spotlight. They deserve it. They've worked really hard the last year to get it, and that includes you, sir.
Exactly.
You know,
me?
Yes, you. Yes.
Well,
They've worked very hard over the last year. Really, and I mean like grunt kind of work, not particularly rewarding, fabulous work, but just kind of doing the job, doing it over and over again, and doing it and getting it right.
Right.
And I think that they deserve all the accolades that come their way, you know, and they should take advantage of it and capitalize on it. She says again, realizing that she's pitting one boss against the other. You know, negotiations. So, but you have the upper hand when you got the hammer, you got to drop it. You know, that kind of deal.
Got to use it sometime.
Yeah. It doesn't come around that often. Once every 12 years, you know, so you got to like that. For Virgos, this energy is in the 6th house of work, health, and responsibilities. And it's just about hard work paying off. There's nothing particularly glamorous about this energy. There's nothing particularly rewarding or fulfilling about this energy. This energy simply says do your job to the best of your ability. I think no one feels that more than Pat Mahone is right about now. Nothing glamorous about it because he's a Virgo.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think he didn't do his job. I think his offensive line collapsed.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the big problem was. Not that they could have stopped the Bucs, but I mean, to put 9 points on the board, and it's your kicker that did it. Holy smokes! So
yeah, that was so surprising. So surprising. But he couldn't have time to set his feet or anything. He's great at scrambling. He actually got the ball off to some people a few times.
He made a couple of throws on the money while he was falling, and his guys didn't catch it.
Talented. Yeah.
So again, that gets down to God. I did my job. What about the rest of you? So. And that is where you need a team kind of effort. His team, I think, let him down rather than him letting him down. So, but he'll be back. Make no mistake about it. Virgos do learn from their mistakes. So, but it's a good time for Virgos simply to do their job. You know, wherever it is they do it, whatever the job it is that they do, there's some obstacle that has been in their way, gets out of their way. I don't think they change jobs. I think they have a better time doing their job. And there's good health news for them, too. They need to know that also. There's some health issue that they were kind of going, I'm not sure, but they find out that the news is much better than they thought that it was.
Like turf toe. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. For Libras, Bruce Arians is a Libra, and all you had to do is see the look on that guy's face. I've never seen a coach laugh the way I've watched Bruce Arians do that. And he's a Libra, and this energy for them is in the 5th house of how much fun can I have? It's the sign of a good time. All those planets in the 5th house of children, love affairs, sports, anything fun, anything entertaining, anything creative is very, very, very favorable for Libras right about now. If they're single, and they never are, because a Libra doesn't get out of a relationship till they have another one lined up. I think that Libras everywhere find that they feel the love in a tangible, real, hard fashion. Not in an esoteric kind of thing, but in a genuine, make your heart beat fast kind of a fashion. I had to laugh because I was reading about Bruce Arians, and the day of the game, there he was playing with his 2-year-old grandson. No. You know, I just think that that's so indicative of that, and I think he'll be back for one more year. I don't know that he'll be back for 2, but I'm pretty sure he'll be back for one more because he has a node of the moon in Aquarius, and it's so nice at that age to be able to go, this is the culmination of everything I've worked towards.
Absolutely.
You know, and you got to like that, so that's a good omen for Libras everywhere. And again, Libras are coming off the hardest 3 years ever. And so anything is more fun than the last 3 years for Libras. But for Libras everywhere, Bruce should be an inspiration to you that you really can be creative and do the things you like to do and be successful with it. So,
all right.
And I think that's good for Libras. For Scorpios, still tough energy for them out of all the signs of the zodiac. They have the hardest time with this energy. Their energy is at home. They're frustrated. They can't seem to make any headway. They have some sort of issues at home that they can't really deal with. They don't really know the answer to it yet. It hasn't been revealed yet. And so what they're just trying to do is stay out of the line of fire and just kind of hunker down and keep what it is they have going. And I think that it's not the easiest energy for them. O.J. Howard will be happy to tell you, sitting there watching those guys win yesterday. I mean, I know he was happy for it in one hand and miserable on the other hand because he wasn't there for it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Unfortunately. And for Scorpios, I think that maybe not this minute they'll be signed, but I'm pretty sure we're going to re-sign Mr. Barrett.
Oh, Shaq? He's
sure.
a Scorp?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, they had him on a, what do you call where they extend the deal there. The
extension.
Yeah.
I think I got to tell you, I think that he gets extended by Wednesday.
Yeah.
Literally, I think by Wednesday.
Franchise tag. Yeah, he was on the franchise tag. So
yeah, I think he does because he made a huge difference in that game too. You know, and again, he's got a moon in Leo. That guy's got a lot of heart. He's got a moon in Leo. Fournette's got a moon in Leo. There's a lot of heart involved with these guys. So
that puts him in the top 5%. I think it puts him in the top 5% of anybody in this position pay wise that they have to pay. If that's the case, but if that were to come true, he needs to get franchise tagged again. So I can see him doing that.
Yeah, I think it would be an investment in their future. I can't see a reason not to. And I think that for Scorpios everywhere, they just got to hang on a little bit longer. And then things will be much easier for them. For Sagittarians, this is great energy. It's all in the third house of day-to-day living, short distance, short duration travel. They have the upper hand in a negotiation. This is not like a big-time negotiation. It's sort of like the nit-noise stuff of negotiations, hammering out the details of, once you have an agreement in principle, kind of hammering out the details of it. And I think that Sagittarians do very well with this energy this week. It's very empowering for them. And it frees them up in some way. I don't know any other way to say it other than they're freed from something that had been kind of restrictive to them, and that kind of goes away. Okay. I don't know whether they were waiting on something to happen. I'm not quite sure what it is because I never know the what. I only know the when. But I do know that for Sagittarians, by Thursday, they can ink some sort of a really good deal for themselves.
Wow.
And I don't think we have a lot of Buccaneers that are that either. Yeah. John.
Got a Buccaneer fan here that's got a little rising action in his sign.
See a Sagittarius?
Well, mine's a Sag.
Oh, your rising sign is Sagittarius. Mm-hmm. Yes. But for you, short distance, short duration travel pops up, and I think you can have a good time when you do it. Yeah, you going somewhere?
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to a little golf outing with some friends here, and right before that, I'm going to be treating my mom. We're taking her out for her 70th birthday party.
Wow!
She turned 70, so we get to do that, and then right afterwards, I'm going to be hanging out with the fellas for a little golf outing. I've never been on a guy's trip out, so it's the first time.
Nice. I think that's the perfect use of this energy. Perfect use of this energy. Then you're going to have to come home and figure out what to do about your house. We'll talk about that next time. We'll talk about that next time. For Capricorns, this is how much money can I make? That's all Capricorns, and Capricorns pretty much care about money anyway. And the Buccaneers are Capricorns, so they're looking at, the team itself is a Capricorn. You're going to say, how much more money can we make? And they can make a boatload of money over the next month or so. They can put things into motion that will end up being very favorably financially for them for a long time to come. And this is not money falling out of the sky on them. This is as a result of their own effort, as a result of their own hard work. I think Byron Leftwich is a Capricorn, and I'm guessing somebody's going to pay him more money.
Yeah.
And I know that Bruce Arians was surprised that nobody asked for Byron Leftwich, to be head coach. And right about now, he's thinking, oh, thank God.
He's like, Tom, what you got? Can you peel off a little extra for me? What you got in your back pocket, Tommy?
Yeah. It's really time for Byron to go, okay, time to pay up, because I'm sure – I don't know. I'm sure that they have some sort of bonuses tied to this. Yeah,
they gotta.
But not just that, but Capricorns are very hard workers. They don't come into their own until after they're like 30. Is when they finally start to come into their own. And so, I think in this particular case, Byron is approaching 40. So for him, it's about time he was in the money. And Capricorns everywhere, that's their big deal, is to be in the money, and it's through their own efforts they get that opportunity. They just have to be careful not to have to pay money to make money, because sometimes it's like, oh, you have to invest in this in order to do that. I don't think that's the case. This is straight up, we're going to pay you what you're worth, kind of a deal. So, and I think that also bears well for Sue, for Runaround Sue.
Okay.
Because he is a Capricorn. He's a Capricorn, and I think that I don't think they're going to pay him as much as he wants, but I think they're going to pay him enough to keep him.
Yeah, he's made his way around the league a little bit now at this point.
Yeah. Well, I think again he's a Capricorn. I think he'll probably play here until he retires.
Gotcha.
And I'm guessing that's maybe one more year.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. We really need him, and we really love him, and he's awesome, man. I think it seems like he's got a good fit here with us.
Yeah, he's been kind of branded as a bad guy, and but here he seems to Just kind of feel comfortable and get along with everybody.
Yeah,
still kicks people's asses and has a smile on his face. So.
I know, you got to like that. And he was certainly very aggressive last night. I watched him, and I promise you, I would not want to get hit by that guy.
No way.
Oh, hell no.
Just, and two guys clocked Mahomes, and one took him down, and the other one punched him square in the face mask.
I remember that. Yeah.
Whoa!
I'm surprised I didn't catch that flag on that, but yeah.
I was surprised there was no flag on that because it was also after he was down.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we keep Sue too. So for everywhere, Capricorns, you have the upper hand. Negotiate well. Negotiate a good deal for yourself. So tomorrow's news today for the 12 signs of the zodiac. Gotta like that.
Wow,
and I don't know what we're going to do next week. I'm out of stuff to talk about.
Well, I gotta tell you,
We'll have to have
if you're a fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, then you are kind of interested in, what may happen in the offseason. It's a great spin. You put a great spin on that, and that's very entertaining as well, Star Goddess.
That's my job, to be entertaining and to be right. My favorite word is to be right. I picked the Bucs and the Chiefs back in August to September.
For
so
sure.
I was pretty happy about that. Yeah. And
right.
Again, the only thing I'm sorry about is that we had these fabulous teams, and one of us, at least AJ, got to be there in person.
Yeah, she did.
Well,
she deserves it. She was covering the games, and that's a nice little reward on top of all the hard work around here.
I appreciate it. Yeah, this is 4 seasons, covering them. And it's not just Sundays. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes in every week, and not just, just with the Bucs, but stuff behind the scenes with 98 Rock. And so, it was amazing. And I couldn't.
That's the only thing I'm sad about is 4 of our teams made it to the final game, and I was not in person at any of them. Having been to so many losing games. I've been to so many games, you just go, oh, no, please. Well, but.
Get that. You got your vaccine. Your vaccine's close, right? You've got your.
I know. Next week, I get my next one. I'm back.
All right.
Like a bad penny. Like a bad penny. You won't be able to get rid of me.
I'm going to get you. I'm going to dance you and dip you there, Star Goddess. All right.
There you go. I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
Which, by the way, I do want to wrap things up on another good note here, too. We did get a message, what was it, about a week or so ago? I think it was last week, on air. Brett sent a message, said that he was waiting to hear back on a very important interview that he had last week. He was hoping for a big promotion, and, he's just, after years of struggling and overcoming life struggles and all sorts of issues, and, he's looking for comfort. And sure enough, you said, you told him basically that they already had their mind made up, that you were surprised that they hadn't reached out just yet, but not to worry that it'd be happening midweek. And what do you know? Sure enough, mid last week, I get an email from him saying, I got the job. Thank you, guys.
Yay,
so,
Yay. I love it. And it kills me to have to give bad news. Wow. There's nothing I hate worse when somebody, writes and I'll go, oh, crap, man, I got nothing for him. I would much rather be able to give news like that. And as you know, my favorite words are, you were right.
There you go.
Virgo thing, so.
Well, that's Star Goddess and Crash Native blog. We always have the Star Goddess podcast. This is the Super Monday edition of it. And, hey, go Bucs. Congratulations to all of us for what we've gone through over the past 365 with this team. And you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll return next week right here.
And A-Rock.
Sweet.
Awesome.